So hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I just finished up watching the global debut of the 2024 Hyundai Ioniq 5N, and we definitely learned a lot from the presentation, including that it can do a mean burnout and all-wheel drive donuts. So next to me, I have the 2023 Hyundai Ioniq 5 SCL all-wheel drive, and this video is not going to be about this particular Ioniq 5, even though it is a great electric vehicle, has won many awards for Hyundai, and just is an overall great daily driver. But today we're going to focus on the Ioniq 5N. I want to give you some of the details that they provided as of the global debut, and how this EV ups the ante for not only Hyundai's electric vehicles, but all other electric vehicles currently on the road. So starting out with some of the basic specifications that we learned from the global debut. So in the front, it has a 166 kilowatt electric motor. In the back, it's 282 kilowatts for a total combined output of 448 kilowatts, or right at 600 horsepower combined. This particular Ioniq 5 is 320 horsepower, 446 pound-feet of torque. So the Ioniq 5N is going to be significantly more powerful in its standard mode. And if you think that's not enough, it does have a boost performance mode, which ups the total power to 478 kilowatts, or 641 horsepower equivalent. Just bananas. Again, once again, that is almost, well, it actually is, now I think about it, double the amount of horsepower of this exact Ioniq 5 sitting next to me. I guess I just thought about that right now. So that is pretty crazy. This enables the Ioniq 5N to do 0 to 62 miles an hour in 3.4 seconds. So I expect the 0 to 60 time, which is typically what we use here in North America, about 3.3 seconds, the official rated time. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if it can do just a few tenths faster out in the rear world, maybe on a prep drag strip or something like that. Once again, crazy to see. It has a larger battery pack than this Ioniq 5 as well, at 84 kilowatt hours of capacity, which is right around 7 kilowatt hours more, once again, than this particular vehicle, and about 7 kilowatts more than the EV6 GT as well. So that will be interesting to see how it affects the range. I know the range numbers is probably not going to be super great for the Ioniq 5N, but again, this is a performance-oriented electric vehicle, so there kind of has to be some sacrifices made here and there for that. But I fully expect the estimated range to be somewhere between 220 and 230 miles of EPA range. But once again, we will have to wait to find out not only the European estimated range, but also here in North America as well. But even with this increased 84 kilowatt hour battery capacity, Hyundai still says it can do 10 to 80% in right around 18 minutes, again, under ideal conditions with the ideal charger and everything like that. And I believe this is likely due to the increased battery cooling and thermal management of the Ioniq 5N, which enables them to maybe have more ideal speeds or a slightly different charging curve as a whole. But nice to see that you can still do 18-minute charging sessions. And in addition to this, the N model is going to be 20 millimeters lower, 50 millimeters wider at the bottom around the side skirt area, and 80 millimeters longer due to the more prominent rear diffuser on the rear bumper. Looks very aggressive out back with all the gloss black, red, and of course the more prominent diffuser, especially when you put it next to this vehicle right here. But the entire front fascia is revised for, again, enhanced cooling. It has a more traditional grille layout around the center of the front bumper, again, for the battery cooling and thermal management capabilities, which we will touch on here in a second. But as a whole, you guys will have to let me know down in the comment section below what you think of the styling of the Ioniq 5N. But personally, I think Hyundai did a fantastic job. It's actually one of my favorite ends if I had to pick and choose which one I like the best. But as a whole, I still think the original i30N is one of the best looking and more subdued N models, if you will, but I think the more mature look of the i30N is what makes it really appealing. And continuing on with some of the specifications, the wide body look and appearance does allow it to run slightly wider tires than that of the normal Ioniq 5 on forged 21-inch wheels, so 1 inch larger than the top limited currently offered. And the tires are going to be 275, 35, 21-inch Pirelli P0, I assume summer performance tires. It looks fantastic once again with the slightly lower ride height, more aggressive wheels, the larger 21-inch wheels, and as a whole, like I said, I think they did a fantastic job. And behind those wheels and tires is also very large brakes, even though Hyundai says the mechanical brakes are kind of in addition to the regenerative braking, which is some of the most aggressive regen I've ever seen on an electric vehicle at 0.6 Gs of maximum potential regen on the Ioniq 5N. And it'll even do up to 0.2 Gs of regen under ABS braking. So assuming you're using the full mechanical brakes, the regenerative braking braking and the motors will still be activated around 0.2 Gs. So pretty impressive once again that you can recoup not only that much energy, but also slow the vehicle down and add to the performance just using regenerative braking tuned to a specific manner. Now, some of the other structural enhancements to the body itself is 42 points of additional welds, 2.1 meters of additional adhesives. The motor and battery mounting are reinforced, while the front and rear subframes are enhanced for lateral rigidity. The Ioniq 5N also has integrated drive axles, or IDA, which was actually first seen on the Elantra N in its latest generation. So that is very cool that they used that technology on the Ioniq 5N, not only to make it stronger for the electric motor torques, but also while reducing unsprung mass. So those are the advantages there. And of course, like I said, we did see that on the Elantra N currently, which is going through a refresh for 2024 as well. The vehicle also features a specifically N-tuned rack-mounted motor-driven power steering system with higher steering ratio, enhanced torque feedback. These enhancements result in a more direct and communicative steering experience that will instill greater confidence in drivers. It has an enhanced battery thermal management system, which is one of the highlights of this upcoming vehicle, I do believe, with increased cooling area, better motor oil cooler and battery chiller, and independent radiators for the battery and motor systems to resist the amount of heat buildup in the actual vehicle itself when driven hard or aggressively on track. So this should allow it to do multiple laps around a track without any issues, and does contribute to the overall battery cooling and thermal management while DC fast charging as well. So all of this to me is a great improvement for an electric vehicle, especially one that is meant to be driven in a performance or just an overall aggressive manner. Now, in addition to all those mechanical updates and the N styling on the exterior, that also continues on the inside as well, with the unique N branded steering wheel here on the airbag cover, as well as the N boost button and some of the other mode controls. It might actually be the most functional steering wheel I've seen in any new Hyundai vehicle, as it does have a ton of buttons, and it will be interesting to see one in person. It does also have the N bucket seats, which are far more aggressive than the standard seats found in the Ioniq 5, and very similar to those found in some of the other vehicles, such as the Elantra N. It does have the lit logo here on the top of the backrest portion, and once again, they are going to be manual seats, so that is a little bit of a bummer in that regard. So no memory seats, no power adjustment, and hopefully they are going to be able to keep the ventilated seat function, but knowing by the EV6 GT, they are not able to keep the ventilated seats with the N bucket seats as well, so we will lose that. But overall, I think the aggressive bucket seats are going to be a huge upgrade and much needed for the cornering and overall performance of the vehicle as well. And one last thing to go along with that is the revised center console design that they debuted, which totally gets rid of this floating center console or the sliding armrest found in the top Limited, and instead changes it out for a fixed center console in this upper portion right here. It has integrated padding on the sides, so if you need to brace yourself in addition to the bucket seats around a very aggressive turn, you can do so because it is fixed in place, a very sturdy surface. It also integrates the wireless phone charger, USB charge ports, which is a little bit different. They didn't debut or detail any USB changes for that. But anyways, it is going to be a different center console design, and overall does look very nice, and it looks very functional as well with the open portion right here. And then of course you do have the top center armrest that does remain in place, which to me is very nice to see. But as a whole, a lot of the updates on the inside definitely match the exterior vibe with all the blue accents, the LED interior lighting, and everything like that. It does make it a truly N vehicle, and I'm excited to see one in person. Now, in terms of the availability and pricing, they did not release any of that information globally or here in North America yet, but they did say in one of the live streams of the Ioniq 5 that it actually will roll out and be available in Korea first. Here in September of this year, it will roll out to Europe second by the end of this calendar year, and then other markets, which I assume is here in North America, Canada, stuff like that, early next year. So I fully expect to see the Ioniq 5 at the soonest here in Q1 of 2024, January, February, March, somewhere around that timeline. And again, it wouldn't surprise me if it's a little bit later in the quarter as well, depending on how production and other things roll out. And in terms of pricing, again, they didn't detail any of that information, but we do have some hints based on the EV6 GT, which is the performance version of the Kia EV6. That vehicle starts at just under $63,000, including destination, and I fully expect the Ioniq 5N with its larger battery and more performance-oriented enhancement just to make it a little bit more expensive than that particular vehicle. So my estimates would say anywhere between $65,000 to $70,000, including destination, for the Ioniq 5N, but time will tell. We shall see. It would be awesome if they could keep it at or around the same price as the EV6 GT, but personally, I don't think that makes quite much sense unless they do plan on lowering the overall MSRP of the EV6 GT to compensate for the Ioniq 5N. But either way, both the vehicles are extremely performance oriented, but the Ioniq 5 and definitely takes it up a notch over even the EV6 GT. So that's going to do it for this video. I just want to give you my overall thoughts and some of the first key details of this highly anticipated Ioniq 5N, or the first performance Ioniq vehicle from Hyundai. They definitely said there is more coming here in the future. I fully expect to see an Ioniq 6N maybe late 2024. Wouldn't surprise me maybe for the 2025 model year. And who knows, maybe they have a bespoke, unique model that's going to be all electric and a performance version in the Ioniq lineup. And maybe they'll do an Ioniq 7N down the road, maybe 2-3 years here from now. But overall, there's definitely a lot of nice, exciting vehicles, especially electric, coming from Hyundai here in the very near future. So very excited to see what they do with the Ioniq lineup, and excited to see the Ioniq 7 sometime next year as well. And one other thing I did want to mention, but I didn't want to address at the beginning of this video because I assume it was a totally unexpected, very costly, and very sad accident at that, was the actual crash of the RN22E prototype concept. I assume it was a one-of-one prototype, but it was based upon the Ioniq 6. But that happened before the Ioniq 5N reveal, from my understanding, and that is probably why that vehicle was not seen in the actual debut with all of the different performance models, including the N-Vision 74 concept car, and of course all of the Ioniq 5Ns doing the burnouts, donuts, and everything like that. But that vehicle actually wrecked. It was on the live stream. There's videos out there here on the internet. I might insert a little clip here, but very sad accident, and I'm sure a costly one if that was truly a one-of-one prototype. But that was crazy to see that happen. Now, anyways, let me know your thoughts on the 2024 Hyundai Ioniq 5N. Will you be getting one? Will you be upgrading from a current Ioniq 5 to the N version, or upgrading from something else from another manufacturer? Leave all your thoughts and comments down in the comment section below. I appreciate the support here on the channel. Subscribe if you guys are not already subscribed. Make sure to check out some other content I have, not only here on the Ioniq 5, but other Hyundai models as well. And I do have my first EV road trip here in a 2023 Hyundai Ioniq 6 Limited here on the channel as well. That was very cool. But with all that being said, that is going to finish out this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it as always. If you did, please hit that like button below. It greatly helps out the channel and these videos. Subscribe if you guys are not already subscribed, and make sure to check out some other videos I have here on the channel, including that of Ioniq vehicles. I did my first all-electric EV road trip in the 2023 Hyundai Ioniq 6. That was a great experience, just to get a little taste of what EV ownership will be like. But I am very personally excited for the Ioniq 5N. It's just going to be a little bit on the costly side in terms of what I can afford and what a lot of people out there can afford. So definitely would consider upgrading if it was a little bit more affordable. But again, Hyundai does offer those vehicles, including the Elantra N and of course the outgoing Kona N, which still is available, at least in some quantity, if you guys are able to find one on a dealership lot. But nonetheless, excited for what the future of N has to offer, and Hyundai has said they are going to be committed to the internal combustion N vehicles for at least a few more years now. I wouldn't doubt if they go for the next 5 years or so that those will be available new to purchase. But we will be shifting to all electric here down the road, so we definitely have to start preparing and changing our mindset, I think, in some regards. But nonetheless, hopefully you guys enjoyed as always, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.